Welcome back to Transformation Talks.
Hey, everyone.
This is our After the Amen deep dive where we, take the Sunday message and really unpack what it means for your Monday through Saturday.
Great, getting into the practical stuff.
Exactly. And before we get into it, if you want to keep building that spiritual muscle week after week, make sure you hit that subscribe button right now so you never miss a deep dive.
Definitely. You don't want to miss these.
All right, so let's get right to it. I want you to think about the instinctual, universal human reaction to fire.
It's canic, usually.
Right. Like if you touch a hot stove, you don't think about it. You don't analyze the heat.
No, your nervous system just bypasses your conscious brain entirely.
Exactly. You just pull your hand away, you grab the extinguisher, get out of the building, whatever. You eliminate the heat. It is a completely binary survival mechanism.
Yeah, it's deeply ingrained in us. I mean, heat equals danger. Comfort equals safety.
Right.
We spend our entire lives trying to insulate ourselves from, anything that feels like a burn.
Which is what makes our mission today so fascinating and honestly a little uncomfortable, to be honest.
Oh, absolutely.
We're looking at a recent sermon from Transformation Ministries' own Pastor Jeffrey West. It's titled, Faith That Endures the Fire.
Such a powerful message.
It really was.
Yeah.
And the goal here is to unpack what it actually means to have a mature faith. Because Pastor West, he completely flips that human survival instinct on its head.
He really does.
He's arguing that in the realm of spiritual development, the fire isn't just an accident or, a disaster you're supposed to avoid.
Right. It's not just bad luck.
Exactly. It's actually a highly calibrated tool. And he talks about real-life fires, right?
Yeah.
Like financial collapse, a terrifying health diagnosis, family conflict, grief.
Things we all face.
Yeah, we've all got them. But he says God doesn't waste these trials.
And we have to really sit with that, I think, because, no one actively wants the fire.
No.
No one wakes up and says, I really hope my bank account is overdrawn today so I can build some character.
Right. Please give me a crisis.
Exactly. But the perspective shift he's demanding is that these fiery trials aren't just random, chaotic events brought on by a universe that doesn't care about you.
Right.
They have a profound structural purpose.
I hear that, but let's be honest for a second. When you are staring at that overdrawn bank account or, you're sitting in a cold hospital waiting room.
It doesn't feel very profound.
No, it doesn't feel like a structural purpose. It feels like you are literally being crushed.
Yeah.
So how do we reconcile the idea of a loving God with this, intense, painful pressure? Pastor West uses this ancient metaphor of refining gold, but how does that actually answer the why of our suffering?
Well, it answers it by looking at the composition of raw gold itself.
Okay.
If you pull raw gold out of the earth, it isn't pure. It's not gleaming and ready to be made into a wedding band,
Right, it's just a rock.
Exactly. It's mixed with all sorts of other minerals, dirt, and impurities, which metal are just actually called dross.
Dross, okay.
Yeah, and if you want pure, workable gold, you can't just polish the outside. The only way to get it pure is to subject it to intense, sustained heat.
Wow.
The fire doesn't destroy the gold itself. It destroys only the impurities.
So the fire is really just burning off the stuff that isn't supposed to be there anyway.
Yeah, right. But here is the crucial mechanism that Pastor West points out, which I loved. It's about the supervision of the fire.
Oh, yeah, the master refiner.
Exactly. A master refiner doesn't just toss the raw gold into a blast furnace and go take a lunch break.
Right, that would ruin it.
He sits right there monitoring it meticulously.
Okay.
If there is too much fire, the material is destroyed.
Yeah.
But if there is too little fire, the impurities remain and the gold is undercooked and brittle.
Wow.
So there is this precise sweet spot. God is applying just the right amount of pressure, the exact temperature of heat, to complete the process.
The gold metaphor is, powerful historically, but I actually really loved the modern analogy he used to bring this down to earth.
The basketball one.
Yes, the basketball game. Okay, so imagine it's Game 7. The game is tied.
High stakes.
Right. There's a fraction of a second left on the clock, and someone has to step up to the free throw line.
Yeah.
Who do you want taking that shot? You want Michael Jordan. You want the proven player.
The guy who has been there before.
But that brought up a massive conflict for me as I was going through these notes.
Really? What's the conflict?
Well, think about it. We spend our entire prayer lives begging God to remove the pressure.
Oh, totally.
Lord, take this away. Fix this immediately. Get me out of this.
Make it stop.
Yes. But if Pastor West is right, that pressure is the exact mechanism that proves we can be trusted with the game-winning shot.
Wow. Yeah.
If God answers our prayer to instantly remove the fire, Isn't he essentially robbing us of the chance to become Michael Jordan?
I mean, that is exactly the uncomfortable truth at the center of this whole message.
Yeah,
We prioritize comfort, right? But God prioritizes capability.
that's good.
Yeah.
Comfort versus capability.
Pressure reveals what you actually trust when the safety nets are totally gone. Let's look at human psychology under extreme stress.
Okay.
Some people completely disintegrate.
They just fall apart.
They do. But others find a gear they didn't even know they had and they break records. The fire is the ultimate testing ground. Because when life is easy...
When the bills are paid.
Exactly. When everyone is healthy, it is incredibly easy to subtly shift our trust away from God.
Oh, absolutely. You start trusting your impressive resume?
Yep.
Or your smart investments, or I don't know, just your own cleverness.
Exactly. And the fire comes in and burns away those illusions of self-reliance.
What burns the dross.
Right. It forces the question, can your faith be trusted when you are down to your last dollar?
Wow.
If you want to be the player trusted with the ball at the buzzer, you have to have the muscle memory that only comes from shooting thousands of high-pressure free throws.
Right. The fire provides the reps.
Yep.
Okay, so if we accept that the fire is necessary to build that spiritual muscle memory, the obvious next question is, how do we actually endure it without losing our minds?
Right, because it hurts.
Because sitting in a furnace just sounds agonizing. And this brings up a distinction Pastor West made that honestly stopped me in my tracks.
The difference between hope and faith?
Yes, he separated those two words that I and probably most of you listening just use interchangeably. Hope and faith.
We treat them like synonyms,
All the time.
but mechanically, they operate very differently in a crisis.
They really do. His definition was this, and I quote, "Hope says I believe God can, but faith says I believe God will."
That is so good.
That hit me so hard. Because a lot of modern spirituality treats faith like a passive manifestation exercise.
Oh, yeah, like The Secret or something.
Right. You just sit on your couch, think positive thoughts, and hope things get better.
Mm-hmm.
But Pastor West says when Christ returns, he isn't looking for our hope, which is honestly often just a feeling based on past experiences. He's looking for our faith.
Because the difference is momentum.
Momentum. Say more about that.
Well, hope can afford to be passive. You can hope for a promotion while taking a nap.
True.
But faith, as it's defined here, is an active mechanism. It's the substance of things hoped for. It demands movement.
It's an action.
It requires you to step forward into the dark when every instinct in your body is screaming at you to retreat.
Which brings us perfectly to the Red Sea analogy.
I loved this part.
I mean, I've heard the story of Moses and the Red Sea 1,000 times, right?
Yeah.
But Pastor West framed it in a way that felt entirely new. Picture the Israelites.
Okay.
The Egyptian army is closing in behind them. The sea miraculously parts in front of them, and they start walking across dry land with walls of water on either side.
Just massive walls of water.
Yeah. And Pastor West points out that if they had stopped moving while they were in the middle of that sea,
Which you might do.
right, maybe out of awe, or more likely sheer terror that the water was going to collapse on them, the Egyptians would have caught them right there.
Right. It's the physics of faith.
Yes. True faith is a forward momentum. He said you have to pick them knees up.
I love that phrase. Pick them knees up.
It's the idea that if you keep moving, if you stay busy doing what God has called you to do, despite the panic, you can literally outrun your situation.
And let's think about the psychology of that for a moment. When we panic, our natural instinct is to freeze.
Fight, flight, or freeze.
Exactly. We get paralyzed by the what ifs. What if it fails? What if it hurts?
Right.
But stepping forward, like the physical act of keeping your daily commitments, continuing to serve, continuing to pray, that disrupts that paralysis.
You break the freeze.
You are trusting God to be your fire retardant. You are believing His word enough to keep obeying it, even when you are terrified of getting burned.
Because your actions have to align with your belief.
Exactly. If you stop moving, the situation just overtakes you.
But wait, if keeping my faith active means stepping forward, what happens when stepping forward walks me right into a trap?
Oh, man. Yeah,
I mean, sometimes holding the standard doesn't make things better. It makes them infinitely worse.
it definitely can.
And that brings us to the core case study Pastor West uses from the book of Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
This is the ultimate stress test of everything we're discussing today.
It really is. Set the scene for us.
Okay, so these were 3 young Hebrew men taken captive, living in Babylon under King Nebuchadnezzar.
Right.
They were fully immersed in a culture that was completely hostile to their beliefs.
And the detail Pastor West emphasizes, which I thought was brilliant, is that their faith didn't start with the life-or-death moment.
No, it started way smaller.
It started with lunch.
Yes.
They took a stand on their diet. The king offered them his rich food and wine, and they refused to defile themselves. They asked for pulse, which is basically just vegetables and grains and water instead.
They built the muscle memory.
Exactly. They built the muscle memory of holding the standard in the small things. So later, when the king builds this massive golden idol and orders everyone to bow to it on cue,
When the music plays, you bow.
right, these three already have a track record of noncompliance. They refuse to bow.
And the refusal is public. It's undeniable. And it directly challenges the supreme authority of the culture around them.
Which leads to a consequence that just seems like so unfair.
It does.
The king gives them one last chance to bow. They respectfully decline, basically saying, our God is able to deliver us from the furnace, but even if he doesn't, we still aren't going to bow to your statue.
Such a powerful statement.
But because they took that right to stand, the king is so enraged, he orders the furnace to be heated 7 times hotter than normal.
7 times.
And this is where I struggle, right? Doesn't that sound like a terrible deal?
It really does.
You do the right thing, you hold the line for God, and your reward is that your circumstances get 7 times worse.
Yeah, it is entirely counterintuitive to how we think justice should work.
Right. I did good. Give me a reward.
Exactly. But it reveals a profound spiritual dynamic. When you elevate your life to hold a righteous standard, when you become a source of light in a dark environment, you inherently become a target.
Because you're ruining the curve for everyone else.
That is exactly it. If everyone in the office is cutting ethical corners and you refuse to, your integrity is a glaring threat to their compromise.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
The enemy looks at your unyielding faith and attempts to crush it with overwhelming force 7 times the heat. The goal is to make an example of you.
To scare everyone else into compliance.
Right. But look closely at how the 3 men responded. They didn't scramble to hire a PR team.
They didn't write an open letter.
No. They didn't try to negotiate a compromise. They knew their God. And crucially, Pastor West notes they didn't rely on the faith of their mentor, Daniel.
Daniel wasn't even there.
He wasn't there.
That is such a sobering reality check. When the furnace is turned up 7 times hotter, you literally cannot survive on borrowed faith.
No, you can't.
Your grandmother's prayers are wonderful. Your pastor's faith is inspiring. But inside that extreme heat, it has to be your own firsthand relationship with God.
It has to be yours.
So what actually happens when you are thrown into an unfairly hot fire? This is where Pastor West reveals what the fire is actually designed to do.
And the description of the event is almost hard to comprehend.
It's wild.
The furnace is so intensely hot that the flames leap out and instantly kill the soldiers who are throwing the 3 men into the fire.
It is a totally lethal environment.
Instantly lethal?
But then King Nebuchadnezzar looks into the flames, and he is completely baffled. He asks his advisors, wait, didn't we throw 3 men in there tied up?
Yeah.
Because I see 4 men walking around loose, and the 4th looks like the Son of God.
Yeah.
God didn't put the fire out. He got into the fire with them.
He stepped right in.
But the real mind-bending part is what Pastor West points out about the aftermath. When the king calls them out, the text says not a single hair on their heads was singed.
About what?
Their clothes didn't even smell like smoke. The fire completely failed to consume them.
But it did consume something.
Yes, that's the crazy part. The only thing the fire burned up were the ropes that were binding them.
Wow.
The fire literally loosed them. I just want the listener to really sit with that image. The exact tool the enemy intended to use to completely obliterate them was the instrument God used to set them free.
It completely reframes how we view our own high-pressure situations, doesn't it?
Totally.
If we pull this into our modern lives, think about the things that bind us.
Like what?
We are tied up by imposter syndrome, toxic dependencies, a desperate need for the approval of others.
Debilitating anxiety.
Yes, bad habits. We carry these ropes around every single day, and often it is only the intense heat of a severe trial that can actually burn those dependencies away.
Oh, man. That's deep.
The fire consumes the bindings, but it leaves the core of who you are, your true faith, completely unbothered.
That brings me to the most practical and honestly convicting piece of advice Pastor West offered in this entire message.
Okay, brace yourselves.
Yeah, I'm warning you, this is going to step on some toes.
Yeah.
He gave us a rule for how to handle our modern fires. He said, don't give the fire oxygen.
It is brilliant advice because it relies on basic physics.
Right. A fire needs three things to survive:
Yeah.
heat, fuel, and oxygen.
Mm-hmm.
If you cut off the oxygen, the fire suffocates and dies. But how do we give our personal fires oxygen?
Oh, I know this one.
By rehearsing what we're going through to everyone who will listen.
It is the trap of the modern age. We call it processing or speaking our truth.
Exactly. Think about the last time you went through a crisis at work or like someone betrayed you. What is the immediate psychological urge?
You want to call someone
You want to grab your phone, call your best friend, and complain for an hour.
or post about it online.
Yes. You want to post a cryptic, passive-aggressive status on social media. You want to tell every coworker who will listen about how hot the flames are and how unfair the king is being.
Because it feels like relief in the moment.
It feels validating. But Pastor West is saying that every time you broadcast your ongoing trial, you are actively throwing logs and pouring gasoline onto your own fire.
You're feeding it.
You are empowering the enemy by keeping the flames alive.
And this requires a massive leap in spiritual maturity to understand, knowing when to speak and when to remain completely silent.
That is so hard to do.
Because, as Pastor West frames it so perfectly, you do not have a testimony until you have actually come out on the other side.
Wow. Wait, say that again?
You don't have a testimony until you are on the other side. If you're still in it, it's not a testimony yet. It's just complaining.
Oh, that stings. But it's true.
Precisely. While you are still inside the furnace, your sole job is to keep your eyes fixed on the fourth man in the fire.
Jesus.
Yes, you maintain your dedication. You don't need to yell out of the furnace to explain the heat to the people standing outside safely in the courtyard.
They wouldn't get it anyway.
They can't feel the heat, and they can't save you anyway. You trust that the greater fire, Jesus himself, is sustaining you.
That's incredible.
And Pastor West offered this beautiful observation for people who have practiced this silent endurance.
Why with it?
He noted that if you look closely at your life after a trial, you are often living significantly better than you were before the fire started.
Really?
Yes. Why? Because of your proven loyalty. Because you let the fire do its refining work without giving it unnecessary oxygen.
It is the ultimate perspective shift. The fire isn't the end of your story. It is the crucible that qualifies you.
Yeah.
It burns off the dross so you can be pure gold. It builds the muscle memory so you can be trusted with the game-winning shot.
Mm-hmm.
And it burns away the ropes that were holding you back.
And perhaps most importantly, it reveals that you were never actually alone in the flames to begin with.
That is exactly right. You are never alone. So, as we wrap up today's deep dive, I want to leave you with a final provocative thought to mull over on your own.
Something to take into the week.
Exactly. Take a hard look at the specific fire you might be walking through right now. Maybe it's a career transition that feels like a total free fall.
Or a relational conflict.
Yeah, a conflict that is keeping you up at night.
Yeah.
Instead of just praying for that fire to be immediately extinguished, ask yourself a different question.
The harder question.
What restrictive bindings in your life is God actually using this specific fire to burn away?
Mm-hmm.
What toxic mindset, what fear of man, or what illusion of control is this pressure designed to set you free from?
It changes your entire posture when you stop staring at the flames and start watching the ropes fall off your wrists.
It really, really does. Thank you so much for joining us on Transformation Talks. If this deep dive helped you see your current situation in a new light, please make sure to like and subscribe so we can keep bringing you these conversations.
And we also want to make sure you engage with the original source material because, it is incredibly powerful.
Absolutely. You really need to hear it from Pastor West himself. We invite you to join us live on the Transformation Ministries VB YouTube channel or their Facebook page.
That's every single Sunday at 10 a.m.
Every Sunday. And if you want to hear Pastor Jeffrey West deliver this incredible message in its entirety, and I highly recommend that you do, you can watch the replay of the whole sermon right now.
Yeah, just head over to the Transformation Ministries YouTube channel.
Until next time, keep your knees up, keep moving forward, and whatever you do, don't give the fire any of your oxygen. See you next time.